Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa, Karuna Sarupaya, Hare Krishna Vesaya. Krishna Vestaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Narayana 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 Bhakti Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Krishna Bhakti Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Paramahamsa. Mohana Madana Mohana. Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namo Ora Karuna Sarupaya Pada Krishna Prasayate.
Horrible Namaste. Good morning, everyone. So let's continue our study program. So the subject matter that we'll discuss today is connected with what should be our goal in life, our focus. Previously, we've already discussed about our true nature, and now we will read this instruction from the saintly person, how we can be guided. Following the footstep of saintly persons. In the Skanda Purana, it is advised that a devotee follow the pasacharyas and saintly persons, because by such following, one can achieve the desired result with no chance of lamenting or being baffled in his progress. So, we follow those who have succeeded in their endeavor, in their surrender, and the perfect examples are the saintly person. So I'll read here how we can be guided coming from Lord Krsna himself, so we can be of focus, and without a doubt, we can take shelter and put our heart, our life in focusing, in surrender, in following, being directed by their love, their care, and their compassion. This is what we will discuss today. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. The verse of Bhagavad Gita clearly states how Govinda Deva, Lord Krsna, instructs his bona fide devotees. The Lord declares that by enlightenment in a theistic knowledge, he awards attachment for him to those who constantly engage in transcendental loving service. Theistic means someone who wants to know the Supreme Person, who wants to be connected in love and devotion. This awakening of divine consciousness enthralls a devotee who thus relishes his eternal transcendental mellow. Such an awakening is awarded only to those those convinced by devotional service about the transcendental nature of the personality of Godhead. They know that the supreme truth, the all-spiritual and all-powerful person, is one without a second, hence full transcendental senses. He is the fountainhead of all emanation. Such pure devotees always merge in knowledge of Krishna and absorbs in Krishna consciousness, exchange thoughts and realization, as great scientists exchange their views and discuss the result of their research in scientific academies. Such exchanges of thoughts in regard to Krishna gives pleasure to the Lord, who therefore favors such a devotee with all enlightenment. So it's connected with Lord's desire. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come unto me. So we are advised here to follow the footsteps of the saintly person. So what enthralls a devotee? What attracts that the person notice something? And in this case, what the devotee notice? So I'll give to you a story that happened years back when we were relatively young, in young bodies. I have a close friend, one of my god brothers. Japadas. I was with him years back. We were chanting together. And he lives with his father sometimes. So, whenever we do Sankirtan or we go distribute booklets of our Gurudev, going to different places, we visit their bakery. Because his father, they have this bakery in Makati. They do this French bread. So whenever we go to Davao, to Cebu, Japadas goes there and he brings a lot of French bread because it does not get stale or does not. It sustains its flavor even though a week. So we travel asking bread from his father. And Japadas, because the house they live in, there's always chanting. There's always chanting, and he sees his son chanting. Then about how many years before? Then something happened because his father had this sickness. He went to the hospital to have an appendectomy, to take this appendix. But sad to say, there's cancer in his colon, in his intestines. So when they took that out, it metastasized. So he's in a situation wherein it's a life and death situation. He knows he will leave his body. But because of listening to the holy names of Lord Krishna through association with his son, his young son. So, during the time when we were together, he's only 8 years old. And his father hears the holy names, and at the time that he knows he will leave the body, what enthralls him, what he notices, is not this world. He noticed something that gives connection with real security with God, the holy names. So he approached his son and asked him, "My dear son, can you please teach me what you have been chanting before, the song that you sing?" To be enthralled means to notice. So while he was in this world, what enthralls him, what he noticed, is the transcendental names of God that his son is continually engaging in chanting and passing on to so many people by the instruction of the saintly person. So, what happened, to make the story short, he chanted the holy names, and at the time that he's passing, meaning he's leaving the body, he's chanting the holy names. So we should ask ourselves, we want relief from suffering. This person, the father of my God brother, my friend Japadas, his life is not what you see here as a regular life of an ordinary person. His association is not that good. He lives, when I see him, I talk to my God brother. He said his father, he has a lot of bad association who are full of vices, engaged in vicious activities. But at the time he's leaving the body, because he's been hearing the holy names, It gives comfort to his heart. It gives comfort to his situation. Yes, I'm leaving this body, and for all those years, he was given the opportunity by God to have a son who is a devotee, who can represent the spiritual master and pass on the holy names through his ears that enters his heart, so he can be sheltered in a transcendental world that when he leaves this body, he's completely liberated and free from all these misgivings. He now has this shelter and protection that he has been hearing for so long from his son. When I go to their place, he's just there. He just smiles, and his sons, they chant, sing songs of Lord Krsna. He's just there. And then when we go to their place, he's with his friends. To be enthralled means to be focused, to notice. And what he noticed is the transcendental connection that will give him shelter, the holy names of God. So following the footsteps of the saintly person, one will not be baffled. Being a disciple of a bona fide spiritual master, my God brother is able to bring the holy names coming from God himself, so his father can be protected, can be sheltered. So what puts us in a situation where always defocus from what will really give us refuge? It is our meditation, it is what we see in this world, sense perception. But because the holy names is being chanted by someone who understands his true transcendental nature, guided by the spiritual master, the saintly person, his sense perception is different from the sense perception of someone who is enthralled and who notice and focus upon this temporary, miserable world. So we can check now, in one hand, this person who is guided by the saintly person, the disciple of our spiritual master, Jagad Guru Siddhaswarup, who's coming from the long line of spiritual master, Parampara, Krsna himself, from Lord Chaitanya. His focus, his perception is based upon the desire of the saintly person, and he's not baffled or confused at the time his father is leaving his body. On the other hand, all of us here, what do we perceive in this world? How do we identify ourselves? So it means if our understanding is based and contaminated with this false perception of false bodily identification, and we are so much enthralled and focused on all these temporary forms, our shelter is upon this temporary body, our refuge is simply based upon taking shelter and following what we perceive through our senses, guided by the mind and the desire. And if we don't have spiritual understanding and our view is not transcendental, our perception is not based upon eternality, it's based upon this temporary, moving world, either in the form of my wife, in the form of my husband, in the form of my son, and in all this temporary moving world, then what will happen? I will be blinded by this material disease that is very powerful. You cannot see. And that will be the cause of your suffering. Because at the time, you don't know where you're going and you don't know where to take shelter. So this person was given the opportunity to come in contact with the saintly person through the disciple, the bona fide disciple of our Gurudev. And he's able to pass on the holy names. So at the time he's leaving the body, Srila Prabhupada, Krishna's there. The holy names are there because it's coming from God Himself through this person who is a disciple of Jagad Guru. So you should ask yourself, what is my refuge? What is my shelter? In my daily activities, what do I do? And at the time, and the inevitable will come because we're always in this denial mood. We just set it aside that someday, hoping against hope, I'm gonna make it. You can never make it because it's already destined that you have to leave everything that is connected with this body. And if that is your shelter, then you're bound to suffer, to be confused, and to have this empty heart, unfulfilled heart. Look to the examples of all those whose focus is upon this world. Great singers who sing the greatest love of all. You see their lives. How come they're so intoxicated with liquor and drugs and they died through overdose? All those individuals who want to be accepted by society, to be famous, how come they're so insecure and they die of taking drugs? They take drugs. And there's this great, really, singer, and everybody likes to identify with this song, It's a heart-wrenching song, of imagining someone that you love and imagining that person leaves you and you try to enter his world with this feeling of this heart-wrenching, crunching your heart and meditating upon something that is not real, and you sing that song and you connect life with that. You know what he does? When he sings, he's so anxious because the people may not accept him. So when he goes to the stage, he's so nervous. What if I sing and the people shout, "Hey, get out of there! We don't want to hear your song, man!" And he wants to be accepted, to be loved. So that's a problem we face every day, all of us. But there is a solution. And the solution is following the footsteps of the saintly person. So I'll read here. Krishna's assurance to us. It's very important that we must understand that God is a person. Because you're all person. You're individuals. Like me, I'm a person inside this body. If I don't want to talk to you and you don't want to listen, so there won't be any communication. And the system that we follow is based upon a system that is transcendental. Now here in the Philippines, we have this problem because the system of communication is based upon this material scientific invention of technology through the satellite and internet. But it's not really good We have a hard time communicating with one another through the use of internet, especially here in the Philippines. But there is a science that is always connected and never cut off. It is the science of pure loving devotional service. That is the message of all the saintly person. That is the message of Lord Jesus Christ. Through His life's example, you can see that He's always connected with this transcendental world and relationship, that even at the time that He's put into misery by all these people who murdered Him, He comes to this world and teach all of us, love the Father, love your neighbors, as you love yourself, love your brothers. He teaches us how to be in that world. And He tells us, if you want to do the will of the Father, to love the Father, then you can know I'm coming from Him. If you reject me, the Father who sent me will reject you. It's about the word of love. So in this case, my God brother, Japadas, the spiritual master, has unconditional love for him. His connection with God is eternal. So at the time that his father is living, the process that has been given to him, that is eternal, that has been always enthralled and in meditation, his heart, his desire to serve the spiritual master, to do what is pleasing to the spiritual master. Krishna enthuses him. Krishna is the one who makes it that he's able to render loving service, to do the will of the spiritual master. And in this case, he's in a situation to pass on this transcendental science. So if you can appreciate now, all of you here listening, that Krishna, the Supreme Person, is always with us. But the problem is what enthralls you. What do you really notice? What is your focus? So if your focus is upon this world, then we are advised to purify our senses, purify our heart. And there is a process that God Himself, the Supreme Purifier, will help us be in focus, in meditation upon that world that is eternal, that is inseparable from us, that is what we are always longing and looking. It is about the joy and happiness of rendering loving service. To be in love, real love, transcendental love, not this love based upon materialism, based upon bodily identification, based upon blood. It is what is inseparable from us. And when we speak of love, we're speaking about relationship. So Lord Krishna gives us a process to associate with a saintly person who loves Him. So through the association of my God brother with someone who is a lover of Krishna, who loves Krishna, the spiritual master, the confidential loving servant of Lord Krishna, he's able to pass on that love, to be with his father, temporary father, and give him, assist him, teach him this science. So now you're given this science, but will you appreciate it? We're always thinking, God, please help me. But if we make progress, Krishna tells us, I am the light of the sun. I am the taste of water. I am everything that you see here. We, as children of God, have been given everything. So that will suffice. So we can pursue the goal to be with God. But the problem is that our sense perception, our focus is contaminated. What enthralls us, what we notice is all about this body, That's why you can see, the moment you wake up, you go to the mirror, you know, you look at the mirror. Yeah. And when a person is in this false bodily identification, she looks at the mirror, you know, and she sees, oh, I'm gonna make this body beautiful. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the most beautiful of them all? But when a person wakes up, the moment he wakes up, he takes care of his health. Brush his teeth, you know, wake up, take a bath, and meditate and focus upon what is connected with his heart. So what happens when a person is so contaminated? He is enthralled by what she sees outside. Like now, the young boys are so enthralled with this so-called, you know, stars, these Korean dancers, these Japanese, you know, the youngers are so enthralled by, they notice and they get so attracted and emulate those Japanese, you know, the young girls, you know, they dye their hair color blue, green, yellow, psychedelic, you know, different colors. They wear skimpy short as if they're grade nursery students, you know, and they act like young kids, you know, and the boys, they act like those Koreans, you know, as if they're cool, dance like monkeys. It will not give you happiness. Then when they look at the stars, they look at the star, she has a blonde hair. Her lips is like this. So I go to the, you know, surgeon, pull my lips like this, you know. So I like to have what she has. But will it really give you happiness? You are not the body, you are not the shirt. What you should do to the example, to this personal example of this person. You know, the father of my friend, he's the ambassador of Panama. His associates, he was brought, my friend, he grew up with all the amenities, riding these ambassadorial cars, you know, with going with all these people who are, you know, high in society. It did not give him happiness. And all his brothers, they're all miserable. But because they came in contact with someone who loves them eternally, Lord Krishna, our Gurudev, representing Lord Krishna, gives them what is real happiness. We're searching for happiness. Open our eyes. This world is a planet of death. No matter where you go, you're in the planet of death because the body is connected with death. So it is inevitable. What we try to hold on, what we try to negate or try to not think about, we have to face it. And in this case, my friend's father, who is very, you know, she's always smile. At the time he's leaving, wow, nothing I can do. He's in the hospital. The cancer is eating his body. The virus metastasized. It goes and is eating all, contaminating his body. You think you're sheltered? What is your protection? Every day we look at the mirror. My skin. But what's inside the skin? It's flesh and blood. You take that off, there's bacteria, it gets contaminated. That's why you have to, if you have a wound, you have to wash your hands. Because it's an open wound, the skin that you think that will protect you, it is cut off, bacteria can go in there, virus, tetanus, and then you're prone to die. But this illusion, I'm eternal in this body, I'm very powerful. Get away from this illusion. Be meditative. Sit down and ask, why am I here? What is my struggle? Where am I heading? What will happen to me? And at the time I'm leaving everything, where will I go? What is my real shelter? What is my real happiness? What will make me come to the point wherein I have complete shelter? And Krsna tells us, God Himself. We are brought in a Christian country. Not a blade of grass moves without the knowledge of God. And when Jesus Christ was here, I was always listening to the story of Lord Jesus Christ. When He tells His disciples, there's this story when Lord Jesus Christ was sleeping while they're crossing this. You're riding on a boat, and all the disciples were so panicked, because there's typhoon. And the boat they're riding will sink. And then, in that story, they woke up, Jesus, we're in danger. And Jesus woke up and stopped the bad weather. And when they're near the shore, the story was, Jesus Christ, they're waiting for the boat, for what they call here, the wooden plank, so they can step on the wooden plank and not fall in the sea in Galilee, But Jesus Christ just walked on the water. And the disciples were all amazed. And then you know what? One disciple tried to walk and he sank. And Jesus said, because you have no faith. If you have a faith as small, as little, as teeny-weeny as a mustard seed, then you can succeed. And they were asking Jesus, how can we survive? We follow you, you don't have work. And Jesus tells them, look at the birds in the sky. Look at the lilies in the field. Who takes care of them? Lord Krsna, the Supreme Person. Why will He not take care of you? He's even taking care of all those individuals who are on their own world, on their own karmic world. Why not you who makes an effort? And in this case, the unconditional love of the Supreme Person, because the devotee, his family, becomes very dear to Lord Krsna. My God brother, he loves his father so much. He wants the best for him. But he cannot force him. So, during the association with him, through the holy names, it touched his heart. He noticed it. He's become enthralled. And at the time he's leaving, he chanted the holy names. So all of us here can be in that situation. You don't have a contract when you're gonna leave. You cannot always sing by this song, I can survive. We will survive. Yes, you can survive. But not in this body eternally, because you're eternal. But what kind of survival will we live while we are in this temporary body? Will it be a life of fulfillment and shelter and happiness? Now we're given this opportunity. I'll read to you how to be in that world. So when my God brother, when Japada's father chanted the holy names, he has refuge. He has protection. It protected him. It gave him complete shelter with the assistance of Lord Krsna, the holy names, and the guidance and the blessing of the spiritual master. Here in Madana Mohana Academy, a lot of people, what? You gonna join? You gonna change religion? If you go there, you'll be converted. You'll be hypnotized. You become a zombie. That is not true. Because the institution of the disciplic succession, parampara, teaches you this wisdom. And this wisdom can save you. Have you ever noticed we have disciples here? For years you've been here, Sharmili. Have you seen disciples here? Have you seen that we gather people to be member of the team? No. We pass on this transcendental loving message of Krishna's love for us. And when you take it, you're protected. So I'll tell you what we do here so you can have a clear understanding how we can be with God. Please hear attentively what I speak to you. For transcendental knowledge about me is not only scientific, but also full of mysteries. Transcendental knowledge of Krishna is deeper than the impersonal knowledge of Brahman, for it includes knowledge of not only his form and personality, but also everything else related to him. There is nothing in existence not related to Sri Krishna. By the way, Krishna is a name of the Supreme Person. Krishna means all attractive. What makes a person attractive? He's omnipotent. He's the source of everything. He's the supreme purifier. He's the most beautiful. He's the strongest of the strong. He's the cause of all causes. So we call God Krishna, the all-attractive Supreme Person. There is nothing in existence not related with Sri Krishna. In a sense, there is nothing but Sri Krishna, and yet nothing is Sri Krishna save and except his primeval personality. This knowledge constitutes a complete transcendental science, and Vishnu wanted to give Brahmaji full knowledge about that science. The mystery of this knowledge culminates in personal attachment to the Lord, and in resulting effect of detachment from anything non-Krishna. There are 9 alternative transcendental means to attain this stage. Number 1, hearing, sound, chanting, using the tongue to chant the holy names, remembering, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, worshiping, praying, assisting, fraternizing with the Lord, and sacrificing everything for the Lord. These are different parts of the same devotional service, which is full of transcendental mystery. The Lord said to Brahma that since he was pleased with him, by his grace, this mystery was being revealed to him. If you want to know who your someone you love, you want to relate to that person. If someone loves that person, you can know how to love that person. So to learn and understand the science of loving devotional service, it is best understood from the loving servant, loving devotees, the associates of the Supreme Person. And we're given this opportunity. So Lord Brahma, the creator of this universe, Lord Krishna taught him through the heart. And everything is revealed to him through revelation coming from God himself. God is a person who can reveal himself to you. Just like there's a lecture of my Gurudev, Krishna is like the sun. He's the light. He's the light. He's the love. All we got to do is receive the sun. But there are so many impediments that we need to tackle. Number 1, to curb the mind from these impurities. The mind is very powerful, and the desire in the mind, in your mind, so many desire. When you're sitting down here, using your senses, your ear to hear me, using your eyes to see me, you are looking through the eyes, you're hearing through the senses. You're trying to focus, but your mind is very strong, thinking of so many worries, and the mind is bombarded with all those material desires. This, that, worries and everything. How can you curb it? Krishna himself will be the one to curb it, to direct it, the Supreme Purifier. And it begins with spiritual activities, the hearing and the chanting. Remembering Krishna, it purifies the heart, and you begin to have this purity, to see what is eternal, what is temporary, and the sign that you're making progress. You're not enthralled anymore with these material misgivings. It's irrelevant to you. What is important is the person you love. Just like in this material world, when someone falls in love, puppy love, every day, every morning, the moment he wakes up, at the time he sleeps, even in imagination, it's sweet nothing, but it's all imagination and focus upon the person he wants to be with. He really falls in love. They call it puppy love. You experience that? But look at the result of that so-called love, of that puppy love. When you fall in love, or you fall in lust. So, there is a guidance here, how we can be in that world. So, this is personally experienced by my God brother, by us, through the life of his father. At the time he left his body. He left his body as a saintly person, completely sheltered by God. Can you do it? Yes, you can. You want it? That's a problem. You want it or you don't want it. If you're wise, if you're intelligent, you have the wisdom of your eternality, of your true nature, then you can be focused upon that direction and have Lord Krishna as your shelter and protection. But that is a choice you have to make. When you're tired already, when you're tired hitting your head with hammer, when you're tired already of drinking your own blood like a camel, when you're tired of all this experience of loneliness, misery, and then you come to the point, I have nowhere to go. And then you can turn your face and follow this process. Follow the footstep of the saintly person, because Krishna is just there waiting for us. You make one step, he comes to you. Just like in this case. His father came in association with the saintly person through his son. You're given this opportunity. Now what solution, what process will you apply in your life? So better apply a process that is eternal, that is absolute, that is connected with your true nature as eternally a resident of the spiritual world, now in this material world, and be focused upon connection within meditation upon that love of the Supreme Person, the desire to please and love the Supreme Person. That is the goal of life. That is the teachings of Jesus Christ. Now, if you have other choice, you want another choice, then that will be up to you. But it will be a dead end. So that is a freedom you can make. Thank you very much. Haribol Namaste.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Sampaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate. Madana Mohana. Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine. Ora Karuna Sarvaya Hare Krishna Prestaya